But I can identify the determination of the government to fight this scourge and put it to a halt. What that is going to cost, it's not going to be easy for anybody outside the government to guess. And I believe that the Vice President, the governors must have been given some information before they came to a conclusion that, yes, $1 billion will be required to prosecute this job. I don't want to assume that somebody somewhere is going to start wasting money. No, no. Like I told you, I can understand the feelings of Nigerians going by our recent experiences, what we've experienced in the past when money was voted and it was diverted to a number of things. I honestly cannot quarrel with that. But in all sincerity, I still believe that, in fact, when you convert 1 billion to Naira, 360 billion Naira, 360 billion Naira, that's what we're talking about.
Brigadier General, I just want to ask you very briefly, when you have these differing accounts, on day one, after this meeting between the Nigerian Governors Forum and the presidents at the National Economic Council, we heard very clearly from Governor Yari on this, and what he said very specifically is that this $1 billion is for a war on insurgency. Now, that's on one side. On the other side, just yesterday, Vice President Oshibajo comes out and he says, he even names some items. He says policing. He says in particular community policing. Now, when we talk about policing, we're talking about robbery, kidnapping, it's a war on crime. Now, if we have those two differing accounts, you can understand the trepidation on the part of Nigerians as to what this money is actually going to be used for, because not everything is lining up. So I want to ask you, Brigadier General, as somebody with the kind of experience you have, would it be so injurious to the operation against insurgency and against crime and against whatever else security will entail in this country, to give some kind of level, even a general level of insight into what these funds are going to be used for? Because if you look at a budget, for example, a public budget, you know this much is going to the police, this much is going to the intelligence services, etc. Would it hurt to give that level of insight without going into some of the subheads?
Yes, I agree with you. It is possible for the government to tell us exactly what the money is going to be spent for. I don't think there should be any secrecy in that. But that notwithstanding, by the time you go through the nitty-gritty of what is required to be able to accomplish what to be done, I would say maybe we will come to the conclusion that maybe we still need to spend even a little more to be able to achieve a final result. And also, don't forget, the government has not said this, but I think I should bring it to the attention of the public. The Chibok girls, over 100 of them are still held. And I know that the government must be doing something which they are not even telling us to ensure that those girls are released. I'm not saying that that is part of this 1 billion, but I am saying that in terms of security, generally, we are still going to spend more than $1 billion. Thank you.
Okay, now, so looking at the whole processes now and what the government wants to do and how it intends to go about spending the $1 billion, the Vice President says is not only for Boko Haram as such. He's looking at kidnappings and other crimes across the country and to ensure that Nigeria is a safer place. But people will ask that same question again, that if you want to go after Boko Haram, shouldn't you focus on going after the funding source?
Shouldn't we focus on
the funding source of Boko Haram? That should be the cardinal point for you to go after.
I believe that is going on. And I think that to some extent that has been achieved. I cannot confirm because there's no information that is given to the public.
Because you say when you say that that has been achieved, people will be concerned that if the funding source of Boko Haram has been discovered, then why is it that they're still going after soft targets? They wouldn't have the money to do that if that funding source has been discovered.
You see, Boko Haram has spread its tentacles beyond Nigeria, and that's why we are having a sort of multinational force combating this thing. what they have, how they got them, where they keep them, I'm not too sure that we still have got to that point. If we have gotten to where they keep their logistics, oh my good God, the war would have been over. The war would have been over. But for as long as you do not have that, and I'm sure if our neighboring countries have that information, they probably might have shared it with our coordinating intelligence outfit. But so far, nobody has been able to tell us, oh, it is at so-so spot that they store their tanks, or they store their APCs, or they store their guns, or they store their ammunition. I'm not aware of it. The public has not been told that, and I believe that it is part of the things that the Air Force goes into the air to sort of survey and try to see whether they can pinpoint. If these are things that you generally go out and seek, trying to get information itself is costly. It is. It's an unfortunate thing. But that is why nobody prays for war. And I believe by the time we go through this and we are out of it, we will do everything possible to ensure that we do not have a repeat experience.
Okay, we'll go on a short break now, and we'll be back after these messages. Sunrise Daily in just a moment. Welcome back to Sunrise Daily.
Yeah, General, well, while we're talking about the $1 billion insurgency fund, let's look at this other matter of the extension of tenure of the service chiefs. There are those who are concerned that, as good as it might be, seeing that they've, as someone said, they worked hard, so they were being like compensated for working hard to fight insurgency, to end insurgency. But they say it's not good for professionalism. Do you agree with that?
Extension of service is not good for professionalism? Is that what you're saying?
Because somebody else should have graduated to that level. So what's your take on it, though?
I want to look at it from the point of view of operations and peace. In peace, when there is nothing going on, when the armed forces are just in keeping fit and maintenance, it's a different ballgame. Administrative laws and other things apply very strictly. In operations carries along with it the character, the personality, the knowledge, and the determination of whoever occupies the seat. He is the one who gives the operational orders. And those orders, he also follows it through to see that they are carried out. I believe the president must have considered all the issues, he too being a military officer, and he too being somebody who has even fought in that very particular axis. So he knows. And I believe that is why even the statement that was given to the press, that after due consideration by the president, he decided to extend the tenure of the service chiefs. And I believe he must have found out that, starting from the Chief of Defense Staff, the Chief of Army, the Chief of Air, and the Chief of Navy, there must have been very good cooperation and coordination. And this is very essential in military operations. You need it. If you just change one and his own approach to whatever he's supposed to do goes off in a tangent, you're going to have problems on your hands. I believe from the careful consideration of what is required to be done to conclude these operations, the president felt it is best to keep this team together so that they can pursue these things to the end. He probably might not even have told them until probably maybe one or two of them might have put in their papers that they want to go.
Is it the right decision?
Say again?
Is it the right decision?
It is. Personally, from a professional point of view, it is right.
But
it is right.
A lot
if
of
you are
people
working with a team that is giving you the results, you want to keep that team and see things to a conclusion.
Because a lot of people also argue that in as much as you say that it is the right step to take, they want to see changes. So if you keep the army chiefs, it then translates to nothing has changed.
Beg your pardon. What changes are you referring
Changes
to?
in the way that insurgency is being approached and combated, for instance. Changes in bringing down those high figures of kidnappings, for instance. How would you respond to that?
You see, I think I don't even want to bring kidnapping into it to start with. That is outside the army something. The army can be brought in, but so far, I think kidnapping has been handled purely by the police. But looking at the Army, Air Force, Navy, and the defense, and Chief of Defense, I still believe that it is the operational requirements and the successes that have been achieved so far that informed the decision of the President to keep the service chiefs together. When you look at the service chiefs individually and look at their style or whatever the public view might be about them, it's a different ball game. I still believe that what informed the President's decision was largely the successes that we have achieved in terms of Boko Haram insurgency operation.
That's a good place
changes.
That's a good place to let it lie. I want to thank you so much indeed, Olusegun Ajano, retired Brigadier General, for talking to us on this. And that's how it's been on Sunrise Daily today. Many thanks indeed for watching. I am Gimba Umar.
Thank you for watching. I'm Neota Igbe.
I am Ajuri Ngelale. Have a nice day.